what happens if the home does not appraise? Now, there's a couple things that happen. The number one thing you need to understand is that you are, as a veteran or active duty personnel, always protected under what is called the FHA/VA addendum. And what that simply states is that if this home does not appraise for the sales price that's discussed, the buyer can walk away with no recourse. With that said, there are a number of options that we have. The first option that I always personally try to go for, especially if you, the veteran, tell me you really still want this home, is to enact what's called Tidewater. That is where I provide comparable data to the lender in order to justify or to say, hey, like, I get what the appraiser is giving you, here's what I'm thinking instead. We have won some arguments that way. Honestly, the easiest option to save us all time is for the seller to drop their sale price to the appraised value. Sometimes if it's a couple thousand, 5, 6, 7,000, maybe 10,000, it's not as crazy. 20, 30, 40, sellers tend to get a little anxious about $20,000, $40,000, so we definitely don't want them having to harp about that. The other big kicker is, of course, you utilizing what we call appraisal gap if you watch any of those videos, and maybe putting some money out of pocket. Personally, if the home did not appraise, I typically do not ever recommend that option because it's kind of like throwing money away, especially if the home doesn't increase in value over time. So really the first 2 or 3 options are probably my favorite. Number 1, Tidewater. Number 2, seller reduction. And number 3, you possibly reducing your coming out of pocket just a little bit. But any shape or form, you could always walk away.